Get in the know. Non-stop Vikings talk. It's Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com. Purple Daily, presented by Surly Brewing Company.
I try not to live in a space of, former rival or like the old team because, that's far removed. That was like 3 years ago. You know what I'm saying? I've had a new rival since then with like the Patriots and teams that we've played since then. So kind of living in a new space on where I'm at in my life as well. Like, it was a long, long time ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got traded years ago. Of course, it was something that came full circle moment, but to me, I try not to take it too personal because it's not a personal fight for me. You know what I'm saying? My life has changed a lot since then. A lot of great things have happened. So more so focusing on that rather than harping on the things that didn't.
Stefon Diggs says, while wearing Vikings colors at the podium.
I wonder if he got asked about that. I thought the same exact thing when I saw that.
He was wearing a purple tie-dye shirt with like a yellow teddy bear.
Yeah.
But we all know the subliminal message. It's a cry for help. He knows the Bills have peaked. He knows the Vikings are ascending. He wants to come back.
Case Keenum, please help me.
Blink twice if you're sick of Buffalo. Stefon, wouldn't it be fun to get Stefon Diggs back in here? Come on.
It would be. I love Diggs.
Well,
it's great, man.
And Diggs now would love O'Connell. This offense is perfect for him.
And he's playing for a defensive-minded coach still in Buffalo, right?
Yep.
Another offense. But he lost his offensive coordinator. I could see Stefon Diggs. I could see him getting upset with the situation.
Reckless speculation.
No?
I think if he didn't have Josh Allen, I would agree because I think he loves Josh.
Sounds like his elbow. I heard it's a degenerative elbow condition.
But when thanks, Byron Buxton.
I heard it's chronic.
Reckless speculation.
This is Purple Daily, daily Vikings entertainment, where we just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. The show is presented by our friends over at TCL. Redefine creativity with the TCL 30V 5G smartphone. Enjoy blazing fast 5G speed, an AI-powered 50-megapixel triple camera system.
Football.
Ultra-realistic and true-to-life visuals powered by Next Vision and booming sound from the dual speakers. Thanks to all of you who have purchased TCL TVs to support this Vikings podcast. And also the show is presented by our friends at Surly Brewing Company. Judd is repping the Surly hat and from the ScoreNorth.com /shop store, the just one before I die hooded sweatshirt.
Hold on, I'm going to, there we go. Just one before I die. I am a walking NASCAR billboard right now.
Yes.
But yes, this does give me the opportunity to talk about my friends at Surly because, ladies and gentlemen, the weekend is here. And when the weekend is here, it means two things, football and beer. But not just any beer. Surly Brewing products are the beer of choice, at least in this house. So as you're on the couch watching college football on Saturday or the pro games on Sunday, guess what? Have a Surly Furious, have a Logic Bomb, have a Before I Die, have whatever you can find from Surly by you because it makes the football viewing experience better.
By the way, we I won't say the name of the company, but we had a great meeting with a company earlier this week that we hope to work with and bring on board here at Purple Daily. And the owner of the company so Judd and I were there, and then a couple of our folks from sort of the behind the scenes here, the marketing department, and the owner of the company. We're kind of talking about the evolution of moving from sports talk radio to the podcast world, and so they were interested in because they've been on like TV and radio, but they haven't done a lot of podcasting, and so we were kind of explaining our journey, and the owner says, so let me ask you this. If we partnered, would you guys be willing to? And I'm sitting there like, oh my gosh, what's he gonna jump out of a plane? Like, what's the question gonna be? He goes, like, wear a hooded sweatshirt with our logo on it. I've never seen Judd perk up more. He's like, happy to wear your hooded. Yes,
happy to wear your hooded sweatshirt. You know what? Get me a hat. Get me a hooded sweatshirt. Get me a T-shirt. Get me whatever.
All right, Judd is grinding through a neighbor with a leaf blower during this episode.
Can I just complain about this guy? Now, first of all, these yards in SLP aren't that big, okay? I have no problem with a leaf blower, but this jerk isn't done by my house. He keeps coming back closer. It's like once you're done by my window, move, you're done.
It is remarkable. Like, without seeing what he's actually leaf blowing and just hearing it for the last 10 minutes, like, is he just in the same spot putting it back
It feels
and forth
like
at
it.
this rate?
Well, no, he's farther away now, but he keeps coming closer, and I want to know why. Like, these are not big estate yards.
You see it come across Judd's nose. It's like,
yeah. I mean, this guy was outside my window for an extended period of time. I'm like, there's not enough leaves to blow from out there, dude.
That's hilarious. So,
check my schedule next time.
This is Judd's Michael Jordan flu game here, except it's a leaf blower that I'm
agitated. It's a Friday. Still, so anyways, early.
Let's get to Feedback Friday here, where we just turn the show over after rambling for 5 minutes to you guys. We take your comments, questions, concerns through the Score North app, the YouTube comment section, Twitter, as long as that still exists. Let's start with Derek Vetter here. I was just going through some playoff positioning and seeing where the Vikings fall right now, and I got a huge confidence boost for this team. I've been a little hesitant to buy in so far, but one thing stands out right now to me in the can the Vikings make a run conversation. Take a look at the NFC teams that are a serious threat. Name off the quarterbacks that truly scare you in that conversation. Dak? Maybe. I guess Brady, but they might not make the playoffs, and even if they do, they've looked awful as a team anyway. Jalen Hurts is unproven. Does Daniel Jones scare you? Geno Smith? Seriously, this might be the easiest path to a Super Bowl this franchise will have in a long time. What do you think of that notion? Because it's no longer like Rodgers in his prime.
Right.
Russell Wilson in his prime. Drew Brees in his prime. It is interesting.
So, first of all, I love that point. I've thought of that point. And while I do think that the Vikings ideally in their perfect world are sitting on, or thought that they were going to be sitting on, a good season, I don't think that they thought that they were going to be sitting on this potentially good of season. But this is what makes football especially really weird, right? Like, certain years, you have to create your breaks. And I give the Vikings a ton of credit. They have created breaks. They have won games. For all we could complain about, well, they're not scoring enough points or something, they have won games when they have to. All of that being said, yeah, the conference, you look at it and you say, okay, this team, first of all, knock on wood, isn't dealing with a ton of guys being hurt, which is a huge thing. Absolutely huge. But second of all, you look at the conference and the quarterbacks, and his point is spot on. This is why, like, this feels like it's shaping up to be a year where it's just one of those weird years where you're good, you might not be great, but then all of a sudden things start to break your way, and the conference being bad is definitely a huge part. So I think it's a fantastic point.
I don't want to underestimate some of these teams, though, because like Brady getting in at 9 wins and coming to U.S. Bank Stadium, if that game happens, you're not going to sit there and say, but were Brady, bad for the first 10 weeks.
But 4 years ago against him, you'd probably be like, oh, you're screwed. Now at least you see an opening to it. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying I have never seen the quarterback list shape up where to the point of the person that wrote that, whose name, of course, I have long forgotten, that you have a situation where nobody really does scare you a ton. You still respect them, but I mean, like, Dak doesn't like, oh my God, this is Montana in Montana's prime.
Not to rehash a new argument that we had like last week, but I don't think the NFL teams have a problem. I think we're watching a quarterback problem. I think the depth of great quarterbacks is so smaller now that we got used to so many years of guys like Rodgers and Big Ben and Brady and Manning and all these amazing quarterbacks, right? Like, I'm looking right now just at 2009 passing leaders and just looking at quarterback rating, right? Like, so the top quarterbacks that year: Drew Brees, Brett Favre, Phillip Rivers, Aaron Rodgers, Big Ben, Peyton Manning, Tony Romo, Tom Brady, Kurt Warner, these great QBs. And then all of a sudden, right now we have Mahomes and Josh Allen. And then there is, in my opinion, a pretty significant drop-off. And is there guys like Herbert that are wildly raw talented? Of course there are. But there's this bin of guys like Derek Carr and Kirk Cousins and Dak Prescott that kind of now skew our expectations of, are they actually good or not? And are you scared to play those teams? And that's where I have an issue, I think, with the NFL. It's not the teams that I have an issue with. I think we're watching a quarterback problem.
In the AFC, the AFC has better quarterbacks for sure. Like, if Josh Allen comes back healthy, you got Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. I think Justin Herbert is incredible. Joe Burrow. So you could wind up with a ton of great quarterbacks. But to the NFC point, and that's what, by the way, it's Derek Vetter, Judd, is the name of the guy who.
Hey, Derek, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
It's not a you problem. It's a me problem.
It's kind of a hodgepodge. Like the guys who, Aaron Rodgers, probably not making the playoffs. Drew Brees retired 2 years ago. Kyler Murray having a weird season, and they are buried and likely not making the playoffs. Matthew Stafford's been hurt and ineffective. So some of the usual suspects or the guys that you would put on the quarterback list are either gone soon, or not going to make the playoffs. Here's the other thing. So right now, of the 7 NFC playoff teams, only 5 of them are above 500 right now as teams. And among those above 500 teams, the 5 of them, the Giants and the Seahawks are on that list. 2 teams that nobody expected to be sitting there at 6-3 and 6-2. And again, I don't think we should be sitting here considering the Vikings' history of playoff failure and be overconfident. But you know, if you wind up, let's say the seeding holds here, and you're the 2nd seed, and you're playing at US Bank Stadium, and maybe you have to host the Giants or something in a playoff game. It's not a game that you're going to be like, oh man, whew, boy. Now the Niners are a team that still scares me. People sleep on Jimmy Garoppolo, even though he has risen up in some big moments and has been able to drive that car very far.
And that defense scares me too.
Yep, absolutely. So maybe it's probably more like some of the defenses scare you than some of the quarterbacks, to Declan's point.
And to be clear, Phil, because I do agree with your grand point, which is it's not that I trust the Vikings. It's just some years opportunity presents itself. And this feels like that. I mean, you know what? 2017, to a large degree, it did. I mean, you did play as well as that team played. You played Nick Foles in the conference title game. Now you got blown out. That's a you problem. That's your fault.
You scored first and
right.
silenced the crowd.
But that's an opportunity next year. Now you blew it. That's your fault. And I still don't trust the Vikings completely. But this does feel like one of those weird years where things are coming together. And now the question is, what can you do with that?
Let's see. 6 Ruler says, hey, fellas, love the show. When you guys say that this version of Cousins is what you have wanted to see since he signed with the Vikings, I have to say I don't think this version of him existed then. I mean, who is this dude? Absolutely love what I'm seeing from this team. Here's my hot take. This Sunday against the Bills is the game that the offense finally clicks and puts a full 60 together and smokes the, quote, best team in the NFL. That's we actually brought this up at the end of the Royce episode on Mackey and Judd today. It's people are so focused on like, well, Josh Allen, if he plays, if he doesn't play, what will the Bills offense look like? What will they not? Blah, blah, blah. The Bills defense is the thing. The Bills defense, which is one of the best in the NFL, versus the Vikings offense trying to figure it out for 3 hours, is, to me, that's the thing to look at. You know, it's not that the Bills offense can't, run away and put 40 on any defense, but the challenge is this Vikings offense trying to get to the next level against that defense on the road, to me. That's the thing that if you pass that test and put up a bunch of points, even in a loss, then the offense graduates to a new level. That could be a very intriguing development.
Yeah, and what that Bills team is 4th in total defense, 7th in passing, 6th in rushing, and 1 in points, 14.8 per game. So yes, you're right. If you can hang with that team and perhaps beat them, I agree completely. Your offense is then going to have passed a test that we have not seen them probably come close to passing yet in the season.
Yeah. Bob Castelline says, you say, as somebody making $30 million a year, Kirk should blank. That has absolutely nothing to do with culture or the support system around him. Why should one player be held responsible for lifting the entire organization up? Daniil Hunter makes a lot of money. Do you expect that of him? Yes, actually. I expect the highest profile, highest paid workers in any organization to set examples and lead for everyone else. Not just in football, in any.
Yeah, well, but there's some weird disconnect here. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a reason why we call quarterback, and I think we all agree, the most important position in sports. Like, it's absolutely a driving force more so than any other I can think of. So do I expect more from my quarterback? Yes, I do. I mean, if that person is
And
paid
you're getting
like
it.
Kirk,
You're kind of
yes,
getting it this year.
but I mean, there seems to be this. Well, it's a team game, and so I'm going to compare the quarterback to the safety. Those positions aren't comparable. Like football's a special game with a special position now, and to Dex's point, like Dex is not out there saying what we have is a safety problem in football. Because if we did, we wouldn't even know it really. So yes, I expect more. I expect my quarterback to do more and to take more control than my defensive tackle. Sorry,
I think we have a left guard problem.
Yeah,
we lack leaders at left guard in
but
the NFL.
why do we
That's
try
the
to
problem.
why do we try to lump this position that we all agree is this unique position into Phil, an interior line. We have an interior line problem. Okay, yeah, you might, but that's not the same as a quarterback problem. So.
I used to be a nerdy band kid back in the day. I used to actually, old Macadac once won the Louis Armstrong Award for best jazz musician in his high school. Yeah.
I knew that.
Little trumpet player
Louis
back
Armstrong.
in the day.
Oh, Louis Armstrong. So good.
And so the quarterback is kind of the conductor of, right? He is at the line of scrimmage. He is calling checks, organizing protections. He is the one that touches the football on every play, and everything kind of plays off of the quarterback. Not that other positions like offensive line matter, et cetera. Can you imagine like an orchestra, and the conductor is just like wacky and nervous or whatever? We're gonna blame the French horn player for
the flutes. The flutes, they're sabotaging us.
Yes, you need your flutes and French horn and your timpani players to be good at their jobs for the orchestra to hum. But everything kind of plays off of the most important thing. I don't know, maybe or the lead singer in a band.
Are
whatever.
those woodwinds really getting those reeds? You know, are they making sure that those are ready to rock?
The clarinet player needs to be a better leader in the front row. Paul Iniguez here, the official Purple Daily chief meteorologist, is checking in. Well, Kirk and the boys are in for some cold fall weather this weekend. The weather system just passed through Minnesota and will be over the Buffalo area on Sunday. Temperatures will be in the upper 30s during the game. Not necessarily bad news. Playing in outdoor games with temperatures below 40, Kirk is 7-3 in his career. It's great research by Paul. Perhaps more challenging will be the winds and potential rain showers. Winds will be a brisk 15 to 20 miles per hour from the west, meaning Highmark Stadium's open north end will be catching some of that wind, so we might see some errant kicks. Another thing we'll watch for is rain showers during the game. Lake Erie is still very warm, so all that cold air passing over the lake easily could kick off rain. Write this down. Vikings grind out a 27-24 win. That's our chief meteorologist here at Purple Daily, Paul Iniguez.
My guy is going something. It is. You know what? I've confirmed this is Juan, my Leaf guy. So God bless him. I'd like to take back all the bad things I said. It's not the neighbor. I didn't really tell him not to come at this time. So I'm going to mute my mic and allow Declan to answer the weather question because Juan is doing great work.
You're paying this guy to do this right now?
Yeah, I'm paying him.
This is your leaf blower?
This is my leaf blower. This is my leaf blower. I didn't think of the fact that we record. It's my fault.
Can we tell him, listen, there's 24 hours in the day. 21 of the hours.
You know what happened?
Depends on if you want to be getting leaf blowers at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I'm going to be completely truthful. Last year, Juan came at like 6 o'clock, no problem. Like he had a light on his helmet. No, at night. But he had like a work cap with a big light. And so he was doing it at night, and I'm like, this is great. Juan comes at night, but today he came right now. And so I would like to apologize. By the way, he does great work. I mean, this guy is as thorough as it gets.
Here for Juan.
Every leaf is gone. Every stick, twig.
Juan, the leaf
he
guy.
He goes in the alley in my in my driveway. Does that too. Anyway, I'm gonna mute this.
Okay, I will say. With the whole Greg Joseph, because I've been the Greg Joseph stan. I might be the only guy standing on the hill outside of a Greg Joseph a family member here. But if it's going to be nasty and windy and just gusts of winds coming into Buffalo, you're probably going to see the Vikings probably not elect to kick a lot of long field goals. So I'm going to assume that if it's a situation of probably 45 plus yards or more, I know 50 yards and more has been Joseph's bugaboo this season. Everything else has mostly been money. You're probably going to see the Vikings go for it on fourth down a lot if they're in that awkward area between, midfield and let's call it the 35-yard line, because there's no point to be kicking a field goal. So actually, for a team that hasn't been aggressive on fourth down, which Kevin O'Connell's offenses really haven't been this season, this might be a situation where the weather forces them to be more aggressive on fourth down.
The Vikings are last in the league in fourth down attempts this season. They've only gone for it 5 times on fourth down. The Arizona Cardinals, conversely, who've been trailing a lot. When you're trailing a lot, you're going to go for it more in the second half. But they've gone for it 26 times already. So I think you're probably right. We're probably going to see a few fringe field goal range kicks be fourth down conversions instead. Dean Henderson says, "Hey, Phil, I'm a 50-year-old Vikings fan from Mechanicville, New York. There's a lot of Vikings fans here in upstate New York. I've been watching Purple Daily for 2 years now. Never miss a podcast. Thanks to you and Judd and Declan. Skull Vikings from upstate New York." Dean, hello to all the Vikings fans up near Buffalo in upstate New York. Terry Nordenstrom, Vikings fan here since the mid-'60s. This is awfully negative. Write this down. The Vikings will lose the next 4 games. They will need to win one of the final 2 games to clinch the division. I'm too scarred to have faith in this team. Judd, if you're able to.
That's negative by my standards. I don't see a 4-game, they could very well lose on Sunday. I don't, they could lose one of those 3 home games, but come on. Give them a break until they choke. Give them a break.
It sounds like vuvuzelas.
I got the fans outside
the World Cup.
here.
Yeah, and Judd's a big soccer guy. He's getting ready for the World Cup here.
You know what I refuse? I refuse to rake my own yard. I refuse to because
we can hear that.
Because you know what? Because these hands, which must type columns for, let's see, among other things, VikingsWire.com, they get scarred when I rake. You get the
callus.
Blister and callus. I don't like that at all.
Yeah, you don't want those callus. Yeah, I mean, as someone who's been in an apartment my entire life and is terrified to be a homeowner, I want nothing to do with these tasks. I've told you before, I've never mowed a lawn before. Still haven't done it.
And that's part of the reason why Judd relies on Finch Home Solutions.
That's right.
Can you hear me right now? Can you hear me? Because I want to talk about my friend Cody Finch and, yes, Finch Home Solutions. I want to talk about something serious here, though. As Wanda does his work, I want to tell you why you should have Cody do his work at your house. Do you have flickering lights? Because if you do, you might think to yourself, it's no problem. Flickering lights, it'll figure itself out. But that is a problem. In fact, it's a preemptive problem, though. And electrical work in your home should be preventative safety, so don't wait until something goes wrong. The best part is that Finch is offering a free home safety inspection to all Purple Daily fans. And of course, be sure to tell Cody and his team that you heard about us on Purple Daily. Special deals, by the way. Special deals for Purple Daily customers. How do you contact them? 612-357-2604, FinchHomeSolutions.com. FinchHomeSolutions.com. Cody Finch and his team, big Vikings fans and big fans of preventative safety.
I would actually pay money to hear Judd go out and confront Juan.
I'm not going to confront him. It's my fault. And here's the thing. I call Juan. I text Juan. Juan is the greatest ever. I text him once a year and say,
it's
dude,
day.
Can you do my leaves? He's like, yes. Juan and I never talk.
So
why would I confront?
You text once a year.
Yeah, but why would I confront a man who does exactly what I like, which is no social interaction?
Maybe we can convince Juan to get on Prize Picks. PrizePicks.com and the Prize Picks app. The easy way to play daily fantasy. You can cross different sports, and you can say NFL with college football, whatever you want to do. But you pick between 2 and 5 players and an over/under on their projections. And you can up to 10 times on any entry. It's a great time over there. Daily fantasy made easy on the Prize Picks app and PrizePicks.com. Promo code NORTH, and Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. That's promo code NORTH, and Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. And then a shout out to, I should mention, our friends at Federated Mutual Insurance Company. They've been helping businesses for over 100 years. They're based in Owatonna. They are one of us, so to speak. Just a lot of smart, knowledgeable people to offer a guiding hand to maximize the success of your business. They measure their success by your success. Again, that's federatedinsurance.com, where it's our business to protect yours. Dave Bruss chimes in here, reacting to the Thursday State of the Offense show. And he says, outstanding show. I enjoyed it. Maybe Kirk can be Super Bowl MVP. The NFL may promote him as the face of the league because he has the underdog designation. Everyone wants to see him get to and win a Super Bowl. Brady and Rodgers are no longer the face of the league, becoming the good person that fans can get behind. If he doesn't have the numbers, he will have to win it all. Be the comeback kid and win Super Bowl MVP. Then, if the NFL backs him, it could happen. He could be the face of the league. Could be a fantastic storyline, Dave says. Could you see Kirko Chains, this sort of
yes,
likable, fun version of Kirk,
yes, 100%.
riding this magic carpet into February and becoming this sort of underdog face of the league? 4th round draft pick, just like Brady back in the day, right?
Well, first of all, I struggle with the fact that he can get there. But if he did, I think that now, face of the league, no. But a huge storyline, absolutely. Yeah, the Kirko thing. Like that's why, Phil, we talked about this briefly yesterday. That's why I said, for Kirk to say like, well, what happens on the plane used to stay in the plane. It's like, dude, this is the greatest break you've ever gotten.
Yeah.
It's the most likable you've ever been. You're fun. You're embracing your geekiness, your nerdiness, which is outstanding. Yes, I think Kirk would become eminently marketable because he is such a dad type of guy if they made a run. Don't you guys?
He has a lot of, I think, similar Eli Manning kind of capabilities where Eli was this kind of like dorky not half brother. He was the full brother of Peyton Manning, but Peyton was the face of the league, right? Like Peyton Manning was the face of the league and face of great quarterback play. And then all of a sudden Eli won a couple Super Bowls. He's doing more commercials with Peyton. Him and Peyton obviously have the simulcast. Like I can see a similar path, and I know the Manning last name obviously lifted him up to that stardom too. I can see a similar path to watching how Eli Manning has basically become a star overnight, to the similarities of Kirk if he were able to win a Super Bowl, because they kind of fall in the same vein to me.
I love the Eli Manning comparison, and all it really takes is just play hot for the 4 weeks that you need to, which is way easier said than done. But Eli did that a couple times, particularly in 2007. When they made that run in 2007, he was pretty young. He was like still 25 or something, but he was not a good quarterback the first 2 or 3 years in the NFL, and I think he led the NFL in picks that season. And then just played lights out. Kirk's almost a cross between Joe Flacco and Eli Manning, personality-wise. Like I think Eli is much more quick-witted, funny, a little bit loosey-goosey, but nerdy. Flacco is more of a piece of cardboard that just got hot a couple times too. Kirk is kind of between those guys. I don't think he's going to be like hosting Monday Night Football, alternate broadcasts in his future. But he's got more personality than Joe Flacco has. And those guys both won Super Bowls.
And the thing that I think is so much fun about Kirk right now is he clearly embraces the fact that he's a geek and like a dad. Like he said, so on his press conference on Wednesday, he was asked about, I think the question was, what did your wife think about you being shirtless with the chains in the plane? He goes, she knows me. So he said he came out after the Dolphins game with his shirt tucked in. And she said, why is your shirt tucked in? I mean, that looks terrible. And he's like, that's just me. And then, of course, he kept it tucked in and went on the plane. So I don't know how much Kirk definitely tries to keep his life private, I think. But I don't know how much Kirk is actually acting on the fact that he's a geek. Like, I think that's just him. Which is why the previous Kirk was so frustrating. Because you're like, dude, this is not you. It's so clear. We don't know you, but this is not you. And now we're at least getting a taste of what Kirk's like.
Yeah. Okay, a bunch of comments on one of the big controversies on the show from this week. I'll just go through these here. So Tyler Gould says, we'll pick 2 of them out here. One of them from Lawyer Chase, who's going to help us with a write that down conundrum.
I saw this.
So Tyler Gould says, you like that is not Kirk Cousins' catchphrase. He said it 3 times on camera. That's it. Ever. Regardless of the whole camera thing in the locker rooms, it has not been frequently said by him since he initially said it years ago. It became iconic after he said it, but he did not frequently say it after wins. Judd is wrong. The "you like that" prediction is a touchdown. I think we've determined, because you made it about the Buffalo game, this has been grandfathered in. There's other people real quick who have said
there's a lot of
he has it
response.
trademarked. So it's because he has it trademarked, it shouldn't be a home run. Do you guys want to hear from Lawyer Chase, the official legal counsel of Purple Daily?
Yes, I started this.
I saw Chase notes, and also yesterday at the alumni panelist I was on, there was a couple fans of Purple Daily that were students there,
Awesome.
and one of them came up to me and literally said, "Judd's right. It's not a touchdown."
So I feel like it's kind of a 50-50 split between. There's been probably 100 comments that I've seen. Okay, so Lawyer Chase is here to help us parse through this. Hello, all.
I love it.
We must answer whether the prediction, Kirk Cousins will say "you like that" after the upcoming Bills game, is a touchdown. Determining whether a prediction is a touchdown is tricky. The determination is taken on a case-by-case basis and must be considered in the totality of the circumstances. Although the determination is subjective, there are objective factors. I can hear Chase's voice in my head as I read this.
I know.
For instance, making a prediction a parlay increases the likelihood that a prediction is a touchdown. Further, a prediction that seems less likely to happen per a statistical standpoint increases the likelihood as well. In this case, Declan's prediction by technicality cannot be a touchdown. It is a single event prediction that requires the occurrence of an event with a higher likelihood of success than normal to repeat. However, Declan should be afforded the opportunity to change such prediction as to make it a parlay. This satisfies the technicality part of the argument. If Declan makes the prediction a parlay, such as adding that the Vikings will beat the Bills, then the prediction is a touchdown until it occurs consistently. The notion is further evidenced by cameras in locker rooms. The fact that there are so many more opportunities to catch this moment, and there have been only 3, illustrates the rarity of Kirk's "you like that." Although it is inherent in the prediction that the Vikings must beat the Bills for Kirk to say his phrase, it is my opinion that due to the technicality of the show, Declan must be afforded the opportunity to make the prediction a parlay to be a touchdown.
So I don't think, because of the parameters of Write That Down, that I can just go in and change the prediction. I respect the hell out of what Chase just said. And even as someone who is not a lawyer, had no interest in going ever into law school, all that smart talk is great. And I love that he took all the work to do so. I'm not going to add to it. And yes, it was already like assumed, to Chase's point, that the Vikings win the game and will get the "you like that" from Kirk. So that was assumed in the prediction of my Write That Down prediction, but I won't add to it because I think now we're crossing even a bigger gray area.
I don't want to add. I agree.
We can't go back and add now. Can't go back and add now.
That's written in stone, Chase.
Yep. So Lawyer Chase has spoken.
Chase,
I would say it's even less likely now because I don't know that he's going to go back to back on this. We'll see. I guess we'll see how this thing plays out. Here's
you
the
can
new
make that
one.
up. Yeah.
Love it. Gabriel says, "Hey, Mackie.
Hey, Mackie.
Hey, Mackie. Another one of your shows has been stolen. Pat McAfee is now breaking down film with AQ Shipley, and they're calling the segment Trenches with Shipley. How many times do these national shows have to literally Write That Down's been ripped off by the NFL Network?
Blatantly.
Yeah.
Now, Mike Greenberg on ESPN at least asks permission to steal segments. He stole Reckless Speculation.
Yeah.
I will say a local radio station, I believe KFXN in Minneapolis, St. Paul, once stole Packer Vent Line from us a few years ago, and then I think they stopped doing it because people were like, "You're stealing that segment."
Yeah.
That's intellectual property.
And our guy, H. Lake, after the loss to the
Wolves
Suns,
Vent Line stole Wolves
he
Vent
said,
Line.
let's call it Wolves Vent Line.
Yeah, yes, let's.
But we love H. Lake.
Hear from our lawyers.
So that's almost.
H. Lake's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big H. Lake guy, so we're going to let that one slide, all right? Let that one just kind of slide.
So
stop stealing our segments.
At this point, is this flattering or maddening?
A little of both. Little of both.
Because it's flattering that we're now. Were you the first to come up with trenches, Phil? That I don't know.
And I invented the word, actually.
Like
yes.
as
Yeah.
a name.
It's
for
not
a
the
show,
fact that
trenches?
McAfee is like stealing film breakdown. Everyone does film
Right.
breakdown on all the major networks, but the name, the branding, the trenches part is blatant stealing of Score North.
But it's called the trenches. So I was curious if we knew if there were shows previously, perhaps some off the air now or off podcasts that were called trenches. That's one where there could have been a precursor to our trenches.
All I know is that Pat McAfee is attempting to build his empire off the back
What?
of Purple Daily and Score North. That's all I know. John Francis says, "Hey guys, I'm a lifelong Vikings fan. Grew up in Woodbury, but have been in Seattle for the last 25 years. Can't believe I'm this old. I know Phil is in Seattle. Wondering if you've tracked down any good Vikings bars." John, there's a bar called Petoskey's over in Ballard, Fremont, Ballard area. They literally have every TV in the entire bar turned to the Vikings, and the place is packed with Vikings fans every single week. So Petoskey's in the Fremont, Ballard area. Check it out. Terry Lee says, Philly gets all this credit for being a dominant team because they beat the Vikings. Okay, they did beat Dallas too, but look at the rest of their schedule. Washington, Steelers, Cardinals, Houston. We get knocked out for our wins, and their schedule has been far more marshmallow. I mean, that's not a... We've kind of talked about this, where like how many impressive wins are on anyone's schedule. If we assume that there's only like 3 impressive teams, I would extend that list to like 8 teams. If you beat the Niners, it's impressive. If you beat the Ravens, it's impressive. There's some teams in the league that are impressive wins still.
I think it's more so in the Eagles' case because of how Hurts is playing, though. Like I think it's because when a quarterback plays well, we're really impressed by it as fans. Mm-hmm. I think it's more so that than opponents. Although I would love to see the Vikings and Philadelphia play now, because that game was there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and you might get to see that again.
I don't think the score was indicative of the final in the sense that if the Vikings had played like they've played more of late, which isn't great, but it's not that flawed, I think that's an incredibly close game, and the Vikings had opportunities in the second half. Philadelphia did everything that they possibly could to bring the Vikings back in that game.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that would be, we're getting way ahead of ourselves, and the only way that game really happens is in the NFC Championship game, likely. But man, that would be fun. Jordan K says, Phil, I'm sorry about your dad. I lost 2 of my brothers to suicide, as well as my dad. Losing my brother was the hardest thing ever. He was a diehard Vikings fan. We would talk all the time about the draft and whatnot. I'm grateful for this show. It helps keep me going. Dean S., on a similar kind of note, thank you for pumping out good shows every day. I had to put my dog down the other day, and I've been rewatching shows to try and distract myself. It's helped more than you guys will ever know. I appreciate you guys. I just wanted to bring these ones. I mean, we get comments like these, and this is probably the highest compliment you can give us, is that we help get you through your day or your hard time or your job or whatever it is that you're going through.
Absolutely.
Because I think when we set out to do these shows, we're not just like doing shows and talking. We talk behind the scenes about building a community and bringing people together. And so, yeah, Jordan, Dean, anyone else that is part of this club and this family, we appreciate the fact that you turn to us to get you through stuff.
Absolutely, well said.
And like meeting people too in person at the Purple Daily Surly event too that have gone through stuff. Or I mean, there had to have been 30 people that walked up to Declan to congratulate him on his engagement. You know, it's just it's pretty cool.
Cool feeling. Yeah, it's very cool.
Tim Hamill, who is the senior advisor of West Coast operations for Purple Daily, he says, thanks again for the no-show job. The key fob still works for the West Coast operations building of Purple Daily.
Good.
And thanks again for the Minneapolis trip recommendations you guys gave. Had a blast over the weekend. Went to the Packers game week 1. Actually randomly ran into Eric Kendricks walking his dog the day before the game. It's kind of cool. 2 questions. He said the first one is about being superstitious. I am new to Los Angeles and recently discovered a community of Vikings fans in a Vikings bar here in LA called the Pineapple Hill Saloon. I've been wanting to go there to watch a game, but I worry about changing my watching routine in the midst of a winning streak. So I looked through the schedule, and thought regarding where I could watch the Bills game, we're probably going to lose, so maybe this is the week to go to the Vikings bar. But given the possibility of Case Keenum quarterbacking, I'm thinking maybe I don't mess with things and I just watch at home. What should I do?
Don't mess with it. Stay at home and watch.
Think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's. It sounds stupid, but I don't disagree with what he's saying. I would stay home and watch it, and then if they lose the next week,
Yeah, if they
pineapple
lose
bar,
now, you
here I
can go
come,
wherever you
baby.
want to. Yeah,
Exactly right.
it's a good call.
Yeah.
His second question is very simple. Is Stephon Diggs a Ring of Honor guy?
Oh man,
Interesting. Ooh,
that's tough.
He is the figurehead of
The
pretty much
Minneapolis
the most
player.
prominent play in Vikings history.
And I mean, he put up
decent numbers.
outstanding stats.
Not bad.
Did he play long enough here? I guess I would need to go back and look at the people who have been inducted.
5 years here.
What was their like? So is that comparable to some other guys who are in the Ring of Honor? That would be my question.
We'll pull up the list here.
Yeah, I mean,
Jared was how long? He was 7
Like
years?
5 or 6 years? Or did he leave? 13 or something? 12 or 13?
Yeah.
He was 08, 9, 10. It's like 6 years.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, Bill Brown. Some of these guys are like
Boom Boom was here forever because there's no free agent.
wide receivers. Chris Carter, Randy Moss,
Yep,
Steve Jordan, tight end.
here for a long time.
I'm looking
tight
for
end.
like offensive
Vikings
players. I don't know that Ahmad Rashad is kind of comparable. If Ahmad Rashad's in, it opens the door for Stephon Diggs.
Yes, I wouldn't close that door. Yeah, I think he's very close.
Without that play, it's not a question. He's not a Ring of Honor guy. But that play,
Yeah.
you almost have to put him in for that play alone. And he had a couple 1,000-yard seasons. He was very good for a few years.
Yep. And they don't really, when it comes to that honor, they don't really hold grudges against you. So it's not like, well, he demanded a trade, so no way. So yeah, I would be comfortable with that, which is again why I've continued to say that Moss's numbers should be retired because Randy deserves something far more special than that.
Yep. No, that's fair. Now, if Diggs wants to come back for a couple seasons toward the end, and really solidify things,
he might be slowed down by then.
It's okay.
Judd wants
Be a
nothing to
possession.
I don't want. No. Fresh blood, man. New players.
It's amazing. We all kind of saw it early in his career. Like, man, this guy, if you just give this guy an opportunity, he could probably be one of the best receivers in the league. And he is. I mean, he is straight up one of the 3 best receivers in the NFL now. So anyhow, that's your Feedback Friday here. You can always hit us. So we try to get to as many as we can. Can't always get to all of the comments and questions, but some good ones coming in here. You can hit us up through the Score North app, the feedback tab, and we're constantly looking at YouTube comments and comments on Twitter and whatnot. So
Juan's
appreciate
done,
you
too.
guys. Juan sounds like he's done.
It quieted down. Leaves are done. Another year.
Just in time for
Was
the
that a
show
lot
to be
of
over.
work?
And thank you guys for helping us get to 50,000 combined subscribers on YouTube between Purple Daily and the Score North channel. We'll see you tomorrow for Purple Picks and Sunday here on the Purple Daily YouTube channel for Vikings Event Line.